Hello BookTube, my name is Elizabeth. Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Book as in Books. This is not my bedroom. Well, it is for tonight. This is my hotel room. I am in Toronto. I am on my way to Stratford, Ontario to see some Shakespeare plays, and I decided to spend the afternoon in Toronto to shop for books. And I bought plenty of them, so I'm going to show them to you right now. I'm not even waiting to go back home in Ottawa because I want to read some of them before I show them, before I get back to Ottawa. And for some reason, I want to show them before I read them. So I decided to show you all of my books. And there's a mystery element to it. So some of the books are like this, so I know what I bought. And some of the books are like this. I don't know what I bought. So we'll keep the bag for later, for the end. It's going to be the mystery element. And it's a mystery for me too. I don't know what's in the bag. So the books that I know that I bought, it's all fiction. It is all fiction, and most of it is rather short. Most of it is contemporary, and a lot of it is in translation. So the first book, it's literally the first one that I bought today. This is The Enchanted April by Elizabeth von Arnim. I think it's the story of women visiting Italy. It's very known on BookTube. It's very loved. It's well loved. I think it has a cozy atmosphere, so I think I'm going to like this book very much. Next, I said I was on my way to see some Shakespeare. I found some Shakespeare. So this is Romeo and Juliet, the Oxford edition. Romeo and Juliet is not one of the plays I'm going to see. I'm going to see Richard II, Much Ado About Nothing, and King Lear. So it's going to be for another year, but I don't have it in my collection, and I've never read it. So here I'm going to have a good copy with a lot of commentary and explanations. Yeah, it's big. Oh my God, 400 pages of Shakespeare. I'm good. I can read that. Next, The Double Hook by Sheila Watson. So Sheila Watson is a Canadian author of the 20th century. She was born in I thought it said so on the cover. No, it's not on the cover, it's inside. She was born in New Westminster, British Columbia in 1909, and she died also in British Columbia in 1998. So what is this about? I have no idea what it's about, but it just sounded interesting, and it was short. Early modernist classic, deftly interweaving Christian belief with indigenous lore and natural symbolism. Watson's poetic prose offers more than a story. It offers a reminder that transgression and redemption are often part of the same journey. So it's a short book, and that's something you're going to hear me say a lot. It's 125 pages. Because I felt a bit guilty buying all of these books when I keep saying that my TBR is too big, I have too many books, I should stop buying books and all of that. And I thought, well, if they're short, it doesn't count, right? If it's under 200 pages or under 250 pages, it doesn't really count. I can read that in one evening. It doesn't count. So I kind of kept that trend going, and you'll see I have a lot of short books, and I'm going to be ready for Shorty September. So this is Aiding and Abetting by Muriel Sparks. Again, I don't know what it's about. I just read The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie by Muriel Sparks, and I really liked her writing style, so I figured I'm probably going to like anything that she writes. So they had this one, and so I bought this one. And in case you're new to my channel, I leave the price tags on the covers because I think it's interesting information. So the regular price was $18, and this one is $7.99, and it is, I believe, it's a remainder copy. So it's a new book, but it's a remainder copy. It has this mark underneath, and good for me because yeah, I think at that store BMV, when they put the price tag on it, it means it's a new copy, but a remainder. This one does not even have a mark, but it's definitely a new copy. And when it's used books, they write the price inside in pencil. So this is Not Russian by Mikhail Shevelev, translated from Russian. Again, it is short. It is about 144 pages. And it is the story of a man in Russia who's watching the news, and then he hears that there is a hostage situation in a school, and he realizes that the hostage taker is a former friend, and the Secret Service or the authorities call him very quickly because they want him to talk to his friend, and so this is the situation. Sounded very gripping. The Underdogs, a novel of the Mexican Revolution by Mariano Azuela. And that thing, I don't know what it means. A new rendition by Beth E. Jorgensen based on the E. Munguia Jr. translation. So I don't know what it means, a new rendition based on someone else's translation. So it's a story of peasants, of farmers during the Mexican Revolution. So that's a book in translation, and again, it is short, under 150 pages. I'm ready for Shorty September. Next, again, Gilgamesh, a new rendering by in English verse by David Ferry. So at the same store last year, I bought two versions of Gilgamesh. I bought the one by Stephen Mitchell, and the other one by what's his name, Herbert something or something Herbert. Anyway, I just loved that version of Gilgamesh, the one by Herbert something, that I forgot his name. I just loved it. And then I read the Stephen Mitchell version. I just loved it. And they still had these two versions, but they also had this one. Perhaps they had it last year too, and I didn't realize it, so I decided to buy it. And because it's Ancients-a-thon in June, so I can read it right away. And yeah, it's just going to be another version of Gilgamesh, because I think Gilgamesh is one of these books that can be translated in multiple ways. Nobody speaks the original language anymore, and also the tablets that we have, it's fragments, so some bits are missing, and some parts of the stories are created from a different source, from tablets found in a different place. So there's more than one way to create, to rebuild that puzzle. So that's going to be interesting. Next, still in the short book section, though a little bit bigger, this is Invitation to a Beheading by Vladimir Nabokov, translated from Russian with the help of the author. And this sounds a bit like something absurdist. So, in an unnamed dream country, a young man named Cincinnatus C is condemned to death by beheading for gnostical turpitude, an imaginary crime that defies definition. And I think it's something absurdist and meta something, and I'm sure that literary critics can put a lot of words about that book that I don't know, but it sounds interesting. It sounds a bit mind-bending, modernist. It sounds interesting. So that's another book that I bought. Another book that I bought a bit on BookTube pressure. This is a Patrick O'Brian, Master and Commander. This is the first of the Aubrey Maturin series. Many people on BookTube praised this book, starting with Brian from Bookish, Steve Donahue, and Mark Richardson, and a whole bunch of people. So, and also my brother, he's not on BookTube, but he loves this series. And sometimes my brother and I, we don't have the same taste in books, but sometimes we do. And I feel for this, we're going to agree. So yeah, I bought this one. They had not the entire series, but they had quite a bit. So this one I think is the longest book that I bought, 450 pages. So that one could fit the Summer of Big Book Challenge by Sue Jackson. So I'm going to leave links in the description box below to all the events that I mentioned in case you don't know them. Next, another bigger book. Not that much, 280 pages. This is Truth and Bright Water by Thomas King. In my previous video, I said that Thomas King was one of my favorite authors, and I'm working my way. I'm working my way through his works, and this is one of the works that I haven't read. So I now have it, and I'm ready to read it. Another short book. This is The 10th Man by Graham Greene. This one is, again, 155 pages. So this is the story. It was written in 1944, but it was published much later. And it is the story of prisoners in occupied France, and they are told that 1 in every 10 men will be shot. And that's the basis of the story. And I thought, well, that's gripping. And in July, there's BookTube at War that's coming. So technically this is not war. Oh, this one also fits for BookTube at War because it's during the Napoleonic War. Technically it's not a war novel, but the occupation in France is very much considered a part of World War II, so I guess it can count for BookTube at War. BookTube at War is an event where we are invited to read books about war. It is hosted by, among other people, Michael K. Vaughan. It was the idea of one of his subscribers, whose name I forgot, but the information will be in the description box below. Next, we have Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. Hermann Hesse is a writer who is loved by many booktubers. I've never read him, and I thought, why not? I want to read him. And, okay, another short book, 126 pages. And last year, towards the end of the year, in December, I think, I made a list of 100 modern classics I could read or should read. And this one was on the list, so, yeah, now I have the chance to take one. And then there are 3 other short books, but they are all together. It's the same work. So this is Night by Elie Wiesel, and then I have Dawn and Day, which is the trilogy of, I think, his experience in the concentration camp. I've read this one, Night. I've read it years and years ago. I barely remember it. It sort of gets confused with other Holocaust memoirs, but I remember that it was very good, and I read it in French, so this is going to be a new translation for me. So yeah, so this is a small book that I think packs a lot, and the other ones too. So this one is the biggest at 120 pages. So I'm really ready for Shorty September, but truth be told, I'm going to read hopefully most of them before we get to September, because I think that's the reason why I buy new books. It's not necessarily just to put them on the shelves. I want to read them, and if they're short, well, perhaps I could read quite a few before I get back home to Ottawa, because the plays of Shakespeare are only during the evening. During the day, I'll have nothing to do. So maybe I'll read books. Okay, and that leaves us the mystery bag. The mystery bag. So the seller, in case you're interested, the seller here, can you see? It is Sellers and Newell Secondhand Books, 672 College Street, Toronto. And okay, I'm going to put this on my knees. I'm going to open the bag. And yes, so before I took the bag, there were 5 of them, and there were no indications whatsoever, like one bag is mysteries and the other bag is nonfiction or something like that. There's no indication whatsoever. I asked the gentleman behind the counter, what can I expect to find in the bag? And he said it was 70 to 80% fiction, so it's going to be largely fiction. Sometimes it's books that sell a lot but are not in good condition, and sometimes it's books that don't sell much. So I don't know what I'm going to find. So it was 10 for $10, and I figured if I find 2 that I like, then it's a good price. It's going to be $5 each, depending on the condition of the book, of course. If the one that I like is the one that is falling apart, well, okay, I'm not looking. Memories 1 by Julian Huxley. Okay, I have no idea who that guy is. What is this? Julian, one of that galaxy of Huxleys that have been shining for generations in the scientific world, had over 80 years of memories to mull over. His method was gentle and methodical, his temper, save when roused by injustice, mild, his revelations tactful. Okay, so it's the memoirs of a scientist, I guess. We'll see. If you know any of the authors, if you've read any of these books, let me know. I'll be very curious. So I hope the bag's not making too much fun. Catherine Cookson, Bill Bailey's Lot, the sequel to Bill Bailey. Do I have to read Bill Bailey first? Bill Bailey, the rugged Liverpoolian, was now a fully fledged Tyneside building contractor, as staunchly loyal to his squad of workmen as they were to him. He had also met and married Fiona, a young widow with her own lovable family, to which she and Bill shortly added by adoption the orphaned Mammy. Life might be good, economic climate, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, ructions on the domestic front, one of their children, blah blah blah. Bill Bailey has already proved himself a notable addition to the gallery of memorable characters created by Catherine Cookson. Here he is again in splendid form at the heart of this novel that combines warmth and humor such as only this well-loved storyteller can write. Oh, well, there you go. I have no idea. I've never heard of that author. Next, The Sleepwalkers, A History of Man's Changing Vision of the Universe by Arthur Koestler. Oh, that could be interesting. A thought-provoking account of the scientific achievement and lives of cosmologists from Babylonians to Newton. Oh, cosmology, I like that. Ooh, the print is teeny tiny. Oh, it's long. It's almost 600 pages and the print is very, very small. But it's a topic that I'm interested in. It's okay. It's a good book. It's a good book. Next, The Art of Cross-Examination. The method of great cross-examiners as used in famous cases. For 60 years, this work has reigned supreme in its field. It has instructed generations of budding attorneys, renewed the resources of courtroom veterans, sharpened the skills of interviewers, social workers, psychologists, and other professionals who use questioning in their day-to-day work. I think this is going to be fascinating. I don't know if I should be proud or not, but in the United States, there are cameras in courts, and we can now watch trials on YouTube. And I've watched 2 trials almost from beginning to end. There was the infamous trial opposing Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and I watched that religiously with comments from booktubers who are lawyers. And then recently I watched the murder trial of Alec Murdaugh from South Carolina or North Carolina? South Carolina, I think. And it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. And to see how the lawyers work, I think this is going to be fun. Okay, it's not something I would have bought had I seen the book, but now that I have it, I'm happy. Oh, okay, I think I spent a good $10. Oh, a short book. Marie-Claire Blais, Mad Shadows. Okay, this is going to be odd. Marie-Claire Blais is a French-Canadian author. I've never read her, and I want to read her. So I'm happy that she's in the bag, but at the same time, what's the point of me reading in English a French-Canadian author who writes in French? It's short, it's 120 pages. It's going to be a first. I'm going to read a French-Canadian author in English. And then once I'm done, if it's good, I'm going to read the French version, and then I'm going to tell you if the English translation was good, and then I'll probably give that one away. We'll see. We'll see. Metamorphosis, Kafka. I've never read it. So translated and edited by Stanley Korngold. Oh, okay, I think so. That's one of the books that I think are rather popular and is perhaps not in the best condition. So yeah, this is a bit broken. It's all yellowed. Yeah, it's probably the reason why it's in this bag. They probably have tons of Metamorphosis and they don't know what to do with it. And I think this one was also on my list of 100 classics I could read, modern classics I could read. I think it's this one that I put by Kafka. Oh, it's a good haul. It's a good haul. Nothing Burns in Hell by Philip Jose Farmer. Never heard of that. Pulp Detective Fiction Returns. Oh, that's for Garb August. That's going to be for Garb August. Excellent. Is it translated? A kind of American magic realist detective novel about Peoria. Okay, is this translated? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Published in 1998. Mystery. Okay, I like that. I like that. Fever Pitch by Nick Hornby. Never read any Nick Hornby. I don't know what to expect. I really don't know what to expect. Nick Hornby. Okay, no, I'm confusing him with Nicholas Sparks, who writes sort of romances. I don't think he does. So this is, I think, contemporary fiction. Whether you are interested in football or not, okay. This is tears running down your face funny, read bits out loud to complete strangers funny, but also highly perceptive and honest about Hornby's obsession and the state of the game. Okay, well, I watch football once in a while, American football. I assume it's American football and not, oh, I don't know, is he British? Pitch, that's a British word. He's the author of Fever Pitch and 3 novels, High Fidelity, About a Boy and How to Be Good, blah, blah, blah. So is it American football or is it... Oh, no. It is football, like soccer. Penalty. Yes, it is soccer. Even better. Oh, good. Oh, this is so much fun. Garbagus material? King Khan. The Life and Times of Harry Khan. No, I'm thinking of the New York lawyer who represented the mafia a lot. I don't think that's him. He was a great showman and he was a son of a bitch. That's written there. He was an okay guy. He was a son of a bitch, John Wayne. He was a friend, a real friend, Frank Sinatra. Okay, no, it's not a lawyer. It's probably some Hollywood person. He was an arrogant, uncouth, lecherous, and rarely benevolent despot. He ruled Columbia Pictures. Okay, definitely not a lawyer. It was Roy Khan, the lawyer. Okay, so King Khan is someone else. Well, maybe for Garbagus, if he's a son of a bitch, who knows? Oh, this is fun. So none of these books I would have bought. Had you told me, okay, it's $1 each, I would not have paid for them. But globally, just together. Okay, and last book is Love Child by Patricia Coughlin. 2 families caught in a drama of desire and betrayal. It was no more than a stone's throw from the $1 million seaside mansion of Newport's privileged few to their servants' weathered frame houses, but it could easily have been many miles, and yet the cold, elegant facade of Newport society concealed a bitter secret that linked 2 proud, troubled families from those different worlds, and 2 lovers too young to understand their shared destiny. Their love was a decades-long drama of desire and betrayal, played out against the glittering backdrop of America's most exclusive and most heartless playground. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds... Yeah, I think it's Garbagus material. Who knows? I'm saying that with a lot of romantic times. Oh, it's a love story. It's a romance. It's a big romance. Perhaps it's a bit tragic too. It's 450 pages, so that's a good fit for big books of summer. And yeah, perhaps not Garbagus. Perhaps it's not just purely commercial. Perhaps it has yeah, if it has any quality, let me know. If you know this author, let me know. So that was the 10th book. Do I have 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Can I make a pile out of them? So that's the 10 books that were in the bag. Oh, I think it's not bad. I think it's some of them I probably will not be interested, but yeah. Oh, I think it's not bad. Well, if I just read 3 out of them, I think it's a good deal. And I may read more than 3. So, that's it. That's the 24 books that I bought today in Toronto, presented in less than 24 minutes. I'm good. So let me know in the comments if you've read, particularly the mystery books. If you've read any of those, if you know these authors, let me know what you think about them. Is it worth reading or not? And well, if you read the other books too, let me know. I want to know. And that's it for me. Now I'm going to read some books. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video. À la prochaine!